Hola amigos, welcome to Opina with Liliana Ospina, a podcast to amplify the voices of Latinos in Michigan. And today we're going to talk about the importance of planning for the future. We are at the end of the year and a lot of people are having questions about wills and trusts. And to talk about these subjects, we're going to talk to Laurie Sall, an expert in financial planning. Welcome, Laurie. Please tell me more about your story, the story of your business. Who is Laurie Sall?
First of all, Liliana, thank you so much for having this story about me. I'm very proud of it. I want to thank you. And what I want to tell you is that I started my business over 30 years ago, and I don't think I would have had the strength to do it had it not been for my strong Latina upbringing in my family. My grandparents were born in Mexico City. My mom was born in Texas, and my grandma, when her husband died, came to Michigan for jobs, and so I was fortunate to end up here. And what I like to do is work in the community and help others in this very important area of financial planning and retirement planning.
Laurie, tell me more about your experience as a biracial person. Your mother is from Mexican descent, your dad was European. How was that experience for you?
It's a great question. I mean, when I was growing up, we'd have tacos and stuffed cabbage for dinner, you know. It was a mixed family. And my grandmother felt it was felt very strongly that we should assimilate, and she felt it was more important that we concentrate on learning English. She was trying to do that, and at my age in those days, it was frowned upon. So I was very fortunate later on in business. I felt I really should learn the language, and I was fortunate to take lessons with Brenda from Pals for
Brenda
years,
Relies, yes.
And that really helped me, and so I feel very fortunate to have learned the language later in life.
Laurie, tell me what's the story behind your passion about financial planning?
I love what I do because what I tell people is I'm a philanthropist. I help people, and I'm the one that brings money when they're sick, if they have a health insurance claim, or if they're disabled, if someone dies in the family, or retirement. I'm helping a lot of my clients with retirement. They've saved the money, and now they can enjoy their life. So that's what I love. I love doing the right thing for my people, my clients, and even if they're not clients, I like to help others and give them advice like I'm doing today.
Let's talk about financial planning. Why is important?
It is. And I work in various areas. I have two companies, one company called Laurie Sall and Associates, but today I'd like to focus on my company called At Aspen. And what I do is I help people. Almost everyone has a GPS. When you get into the car, you have a path. And what I do is I help people find their path. And in different areas to help them prepare if they have a family or loved ones with life insurance, and also retirement planning. Especially right now, it's a very scary time. So it's a good time to take a look at your portfolio. And I think another important thing, Liliana, is having a record of everything that you have. We have something called Share Your Love, and maybe we could talk about that later. It's something that I'd love to give to people watching this if they're interested.
I want to talk about the book you're mentioning, Share the Love, because in our culture, most people don't like to talk about that. Dying is going to happen eventually, and we need to be prepared for it. And I remember my dad, he used to say, don't talk about dying because that's bad luck, or it's a bit taboo.
And like you said, Liliana, in our culture, it's taboo. It's considered bad luck sometimes to talk about it. So that's why it's nice that it's in a book. And I encourage people to talk about it with their family, their children, any of their loved ones, so that they know what to do. And you can plan. Where do you want your funeral? Do you want to be cremated? Those kind of things are very important because in some cultures, they don't want cremation. So it's just very important to plan ahead. I have to tell you, before we got on the show here, I learned that one of my clients died and she did not have a secondary beneficiary. She had been putting it off, and so now it's going to go through probate, and it'll be kind of messy. And with the Share Your Love letter, you get things organized, and you have a listing of your life insurance, disability insurance, where you'd like to be buried, just a list of all the things that are difficult to talk about, and it's nice that they're in a book to make it easier with your family.
What are the most common mistakes people make when it comes to financial planning?
That's a very good question. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they'll name minor children as beneficiaries, and you have to name someone who's at least 18 years of age in order for them to be a beneficiary. And even more important than that, a lot of people will not have a will designating who they'd like to take care of their minor children and how to choose someone that's the right person to manage the money, because sometimes those are not the same people. So those are very important things, because otherwise a judge decides who's going to take care of your children.
And when it comes to a will or a trust, is that expensive? Can anybody afford it? What can you tell us about it?
It's a lot of people think, oh, it's very expensive, but it's very reasonable. And when you think about the cost of going through probate, that's really expensive. So it's always good to plan ahead.
As a financial planner and a person expert in this subject, what's the best advice you could give the Hispanic community and in general the community about this?
The best thing that you can do is talk to your spouse, your partner, whomever you have the children with, maybe a family member if you're a single parent, and ask them if they'd be willing to do that, because that's important too, if they'd be willing to take care of your children. And then out of respect say, you know, I might have my brother manage the money because he's good at managing money, but Mom, I would like you, or my sister, I'd like you to take care of the children. And that's something you can designate in a will. And since we're also talking about children, let's talk about older children that are over 18 that might be in college. Another important thing is that they have a power of attorney if they're sick, because just because you're the parents doesn't mean that you'll be able to direct their care if, God forbid, they were in the hospital and had a major injury.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, or even a spouse. You have to have these directives in writing. And once again, that can be in a simple will. It doesn't have to be a fancy trust. So that's another important thing.
There are families that have younger children and they don't know what to do. They don't know if it's better to have a will or to have a trust. What can you tell them about it?
Trust, sometimes you might have a more complicated estate, especially with blended families. Let's say that a couple has children from a previous marriage, or they have substantial assets that they want distributed to their children in a way that they won't blow all the money, let's say, and you can protect those children from themselves and predators that might want to take advantage of them. So when someone has substantial assets, it's a good idea to have a trust. And it's a little bit more, but once again, it's worth it to make sure that your wishes are really granted the way you want your money to be distributed.
And what will be the message for a family that doesn't have a will, you know, and have young children? What could you tell them?
I would say, please find a lawyer that could help you with this. I have several lawyers that I work with, and I typically give out 3 referrals. So Liliana, I'd be honored to do that. And as I said earlier, we have the Share Your Love book. I'd be honored to give that to your viewers too, if they would like to get a start on organizing. It's a great way to get organized and then talk to the lawyer.
You know, a lot of people are talking about the 401ks. What can you tell them about that subject?
A lot of people are nervous about their 401k, their stocks. And what I like to say to people, I'm not going to give financial advice. You should talk to your advisor. But during these trying times when the stock market's up and down, if you put together a good mix, you should rely on your mix to get you through those times. But you know, if you feel really awful, you should possibly make a change, but most people should just kind of ride out the storm. If you look at history, we've had bad times. We've had 9/11. We had the real estate crisis in 2008, and it's best to ride it out and maybe wait for your portfolio to rise again, and if you feel strongly about being more conservative, change then, not now.
Did you always wanted to work in the insurance sector? Was this your dream when you were younger?
Oh my gosh, that's a funny little story I have to tell you, because I'm the oldest of 6 children. My mom's Mexican, my dad was Hungarian. And my dad said, Laurie, you don't have to go to college. You know, you're just going to get married and have kids like your mom. And I said, no, Dad, I really want to do something different. I don't even want to have children, and which I did not, and I don't regret it. So I said, I'm going to work for an insurance company and save money to go to college. So I had the good fortune of running into people who said, Laurie, this could be a good career. You ought to start selling insurance and investments. And so I'm really lucky that I was able to do that. So I consider that my good fortune.
Laurie, thank you so much for your time, and Amigos, remember to follow Latinos in Michigan TV and my podcast in Spotify, Opina with Liliana Ospina. Thank you for following me. Thank you for your support, and see you next time. Bye.